Hey everyone, hey wellness crew, welcome to Movement with Jenna. We are doing a yoga session today, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to begin in downward facing dog, breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth, allowing our head to relax, our neck to relax, trying to get those heels as close to the mat as possible, pushing through our palms, coming into tabletop. We're going to do cat-cow, inhaling and exhaling. Coming back into downward facing dog. To tabletop. We're going to extend, let me move real quick. We're going to extend our right arm out, our left leg out, and switch sides. Trying to keep a neutral spine. Coming back into cat-cow. And back into downward facing dog. Really pushing from those palms. Coming back into tabletop. Extending that right arm out, that left leg out, and switching sides. All these plants in my way. And into cat-cow. We're going to open up those knees and come into child's pose, bringing our forehead to the mat. And coming back into downward facing dog. Coming into tabletop. Extending our right arm out, our left leg out. And trying to maintain that neutral spine. Coming into cat-cow. Opening up our knees, coming into child's pose. Bringing our foreheads to the mat. Really reaching out with our arms to get a nice stretch in our back. And coming back into downward facing dog. Coming into plank. Coming into hovering. So only the palms of our hands and the balls and the toes of our feet are in contact with the mat. The rest of our body is elevated up off the mat. Coming into upward dog. Excuse me real quick. Still getting over a cold. Bending our knees, pointing our toes, bringing them in towards our bottom. Or you can flex your feet if you start to cramp up. And opening up those knees, coming back into child's pose. Coming into downward facing dog. Coming into plank. Coming into hovering, bending at the elbows. Coming into upward dog. Bending those knees, bringing those feet in towards your body. And opening up those knees to get into child's pose. Excuse me. Really reaching with the palms of our hands. Coming back into downward facing dog. Coming into plank. Coming into hovering. Coming into upward facing dog. Bending our knees, bringing our feet in towards our body. And opening up our knees to get into child's pose. Coming back into downward facing dog. Really trying to push those heels towards the mat. Coming in, excuse me, coming into plank. It is a little bit more difficult to try to breathe when you have a cold. I will be honest with you. Bending our elbows, coming into hovering. Coming into upward dog. Bending the knees, bringing your feet in towards your body. And opening up those knees to get back into child's pose. Relaxing your forehead on the mat. Really reaching with those hands so you can get a nice stretch in your back. Trying to bring your bottom to your heels. And back into downward facing dog. I'm decked out in Valentine's Day gear, so get ready, everyone. If you have a partner, it's time to go buy a gift. And if you're single, then you are off the hook. Coming into plank. Coming into hovering. Coming into upward dog. Tilting our head back. And bringing those feet in, bending the knees. And opening up those knees, sitting back into child's pose. Reaching with those palms. Having our bottom in contact with our heels if possible. And we're going to step that left leg forward, the left foot forward, I should say. We're going to get onto our forearms to get into lizard. And if you can, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and get onto the edge of that foot. If possible, you might feel a little bit of a pop or an adjustment. That's normal as long as it's not painful. If it's painful, then please just go ahead and stay on the entirety of your foot. We're going to take a few deep breaths here. Feeling nice and relaxed. Feeling your hips open up. And bringing that foot back to flat on the mat. We're going to come back into a half split. As long as my sock doesn't come off. You can have your foot flexed or you can have your toe pointed. Relaxing the head and the neck. Feeling that stretch in your hamstrings and potentially in your calf. Now coming into a kneeling lunge, we're going to go ahead, place our right hand by our left foot, and we're going to go ahead and twist up, looking up towards our left hand. And coming back into that kneeling half split. Relaxing the neck, relaxing the head. Really feeling that stretch in your left hamstring. Maybe even in your lower back. And before we repeat the same thing on the right hand side, let's go ahead, get into a kneeling position. We're going to get onto the balls of our feet. We're going to reach back for our ankles to get into camel. Very slowly coming back up. Getting into lizard with our right foot. Getting onto our forearms. And once you feel comfortable, going ahead and opening it up, getting it onto the edge of your right foot, opening up that hip. And whenever you're ready, bringing it back to the center of your foot, coming back into a kneeling half split. Really feeling that stretch in your right hamstring, maybe even in your calf. Coming into that kneeling lunge, we're going to go ahead, bring our left hand by our right foot. We're going to twist open to the right hand side, gaze up at our right hand. You're doing awesome. And bringing that right arm down, coming back into the kneeling half split. And bringing that right leg back so we can come onto our left hand side. So we can get into a plank position, a side plank. We're going to come up. And release. We're going to go ahead and do some leg raises. So lifting up that right leg and bringing it down. And coming back into that side plank on the left hand side. You got this. And releasing, coming back into those leg raises. And going ahead, switching sides, coming onto our right hand side for that side plank. You're doing awesome. And coming down, doing those leg raises with the left leg. And coming back into that side plank. And releasing, getting into those leg raises. Getting into a supine position, we're going to go ahead, have our knees bent in a 90-degree angle. Our knees are stacked on top of our hips. We're going to open up our legs, close them, straighten our legs, open, scissor, open, scissor, close, bend, open, close, up, open, scissor, open, scissor, close, bend, open, close, up, open, scissor, open, scissor, closed, bend, open, close, up, open, scissor, open, scissor, close, bend, open, close, up, scissor, scissor, bend, up, scissor, scissor, bend, up, scissor, scissor, bend, scissor, scissor, 5 more, three more, last one, And bringing those feet down to the mat. We're going to interlace our hands behind our head. We're going to come up into a crunch. Bring in our knees. Bring our feet back down and lower our head. Upper body, lower body, lower, lower our head. Ten more. Six more. Last two. We're going to go ahead and extend that right leg. We're going to bend that left knee. We're going to pull over to our right hand side, trying to keep our shoulder in contact with the mat. Looking to the left hand side. Bring that left leg back to the center, extending it out, bending that right knee, going ahead, extending that right leg, that right arm out. We're going to bend over to the left hand side, keeping our shoulders in contact with the mat. You're doing awesome. Looking to the right hand side, aiming for your hand with your eyes. Bringing that leg back to center, straightening it out. We're going to go ahead and turn over. We're going to get into puppy dog. So we're going to have our hips stacked over our knees. We're going to extend our arms out. If you're super flexy, having your chin on the mat. We're going to bring that left arm in. We're going to go ahead and thread the needle with that right arm, bringing the right side of our head to the mat. Having a slight spinal twist. And switching sides. We're going to go ahead and come into Superman, extending our arms out in front of us. We're going to lift up our legs, lift up our arms. Try to get our chest up off of the mat and relax. And up. And relax. And up. Hold, hold, hold. And relax. Opening up our knees, pushing back into child's pose. And instead of Shavasana, today we're going to come into recovery pose. So we're going to stack our forearms over each other. We're going to go ahead and lay our forehead on our forearms. Breathing in nice and deep. Allowing your body to recover from the work that we did. And I want you to go ahead and think of one thing that you're grateful for. I want you to hold that in your mind. And with each cleansing breath, I want you to imagine at the very top of your head a white healing orb of light penetrating your skull, coming down your head to your neck, down your face, to your shoulders, down your arms, surrounding each and every finger that you possess, down your chest, down your stomach, to your upper back, to the middle of your back, to your lower back, to your pelvic area and your bottom, enveloping your thighs, your knees, your lower legs, your heels, the arches of your feet, the balls of your feet, the top of your feet, each and every toe that you possess, and in between your toes. I want you to feel this healing light orb, and I want you to also feel all the gratitude that you feel for that thing you've been holding in your mind. We're going to take 3 deep breaths in through our nose, out through our mouth. You can go ahead and slowly push up from this position, coming into a seated position if you would like, or a kneeling position, whatever you prefer. Thank you so much for joining me today for this yoga practice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and or join for more content like this. It is popping up in the other tiers, and I am so happy for my members. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much to my wellness crew, and I will see y'all on the next video. Be well, stay wild as well. Bye.